You are watching TFI.
Greetings and salutations! Welcome to TFI for the wrap-up of Invusion CAD Challenge number 3, the CPU killer. This one was a killer on multiple fronts because I couldn't even get my own model right. This has been an absolute calamity from start to finish, honestly, mate. I did that first model, and then after I released the competition, got it live, got it up on YouTube, I tried to do it again, different answer. Very slightly, marginally different, but different answer. Did it again, different answer again. I ended up with 4 different answers from me doing the exact same. I created it. I did the exact same workflow, exact same sketches, exact same dimensions, everything exact. 4 different answers. Can't explain it. Long story, but I've sent some of them through, some of the weird oddities that I've noticed through to Autodesk. The Inventor team watch these videos. They've noted it, and they're aware of some of the things that I've brought up, so they'll get worked on. When I say this is the right answer, there's about 4 of them, so I've put them up on screen right now. These are roughly ballpark correct answers that I will accept, but very few, in fact, very few people put in for this one because it was so goddamn difficult. And that's not because fewer people in the first 2 challenges watched it. It's just that it was that hard that fewer people put in for it, which is understandable. If you've just got no idea how to do this, I understand why you'd not want to put in, thinking that your answer is going to be way off. You don't want to look stupid. I wouldn't think anyone's stupid at all, but I understand why you wouldn't want to do that. But had quite a few people put in. Most were wrong. Some of them were way off, which is okay. Some people were very, very, very close, like within a tolerance that I'd accepted as right. Nobody got the exact answer that I got. Some people were close enough that I'll accept them as correct, and that's these guys here. Well done. Yous were, god damn it, close as damn it enough for us to say you got it right. So well done. For everyone else, there'll be some people who sent in, and I've had to make a very tough choice on that. I mean, it shouldn't be a tough choice. It's just a bit of fun, mate. Let's not take it too seriously. But some people were very close, but I've marked it down as wrong. And that's because I had to draw a line somewhere. These people were very, very, very close. Like, they got the first 4 or 5 digits in the answers correct. They got the mass correct. But anything else that I've marked up as wrong is because it was a little bit too far away from my answer that I felt that, these guys were that close that it was possible and it was doable. They got that close. Other people didn't. Those are the people I've had to mark it down as being not correct. It's not going to be a very popular decision. You can't please everyone. But it's just been a nightmare, this one. I've learned quite a few lessons from this one. Just the complexity of the shape, solving of sweeps and whatnot. It's just been a nightmare. So I'm not going to do anything like this again. Anyway, mate, if you're interested in how it was done, stick around because I'm going to go through the full modeling procedure in Autodesk Inventor. But here's how it was done. Right, mate, let's get cracking. Like I said at the start in the introduction, the day of the week, the hour and the day, the charge of the electricity going through my PC seems to have an impact on the actual final answer that I'll get at the end of this. I can't make any sense of it, and honestly, I don't have time to try and figure it out anymore. I've remodeled this so many times I've lost count, and I just can't. I think I have a rough guesstimation of where things tend to differ, but I can't make any sense of it. I can't explain it. And I know there's quite a few people from the Autodesk Inventor team that watch these videos. Mate, please, if you get a spare moment, can you just look at this, copy what I do, and see if you can figure it out, please? Thanks, hugs and kisses. It's the best interests of the product. Right. First dimension is the center line. I'm going to call it main, so that's the name of the parameter. I don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, but it just helps reference it later on for a few bits and pieces. So I'm going to coincidentally constrain the center of that to the center of part, and then I'm going to draw a construction line, which is going to be going across there. And then I don't need to do this either, but I'm going to just link it to there and then link it to there, so it's the same size. Don't need to do that, but why not? And then he is, I think it was 125, I think. I don't even need to look at my drawing at this point. I've modeled it so many times. Right, turn off construction line. I'm going to draw some marks. So this is one of the good things about Inventor is you don't need to draw things accurately straight away. You can just roughly bang things down. And I'm trying to avoid the automatic constraints that it puts down. I wish I wouldn't do this. This is another thing that I find intolerably infuriating. What is he even doing? Why is it drawing a full circle on my screen? Like, I'm sure there is some logic behind that, but you know what it's like, mate. I mean, you're drawing something, or you're modeling something in the real world, in your job, in the real world, and these weird things start happening, and you just don't have time to stop and try and figure out what the hell's happening, and if it's safe to leave it on. You would just rather it wasn't there, and you figure it out later on, but that later on kind of never happens, does it? Right, so I need to join these two together. I probably should have made that one a little bit larger, never mind. Right, so that's a bit messy, but that's fine. I prefer to avoid putting automatic constraints down on sketches because I like to know that the constraint is there. I like to know that I've put it on, I'm in control, and I'm not left guessing what might have actually happened and weird things happening as I'm modeling and sketching stuff up. Right, tangent between there and there. Right, so that's the basic foundation of my first sketch. And just a couple more things I need to do. Line it up to there, and then I think that one's already done. Yep, right. Dimensions, so let's drop some sizes down. I think this one was 250, and then it was from there to there. I think this segment was 5. Oh, wow, okay. That just happened. Let's get rid of that. Make it a little bit larger. And let's try that again. I hope it doesn't explode. Okay. That's the way it goes, mate. That's the way it goes. All right. And then I'm getting quite agitated as I'm doing this, and it's my bloody sketch. I came up with it. All right. And then that's 250. You can just link that. I think that's all I need to do, because I can now drop down the radius of 500 on there, and things start shaping up. And then you're also 500, so that's all black, that's good. And then you're also 500, you're also 500, and then we're all fully constrained. That's all I needed to do. Right, finish him. Stop zooming in, please. Didn't ask for that. Right, revolve. Surface revolve. I'm going to revolve this profile around that center line, and then okay, right. That's the construction body for the center coil. If you've no idea what I'm doing, it's fine. Just bear with me. It'll make sense at the end. Right, I'm going to float a work plane off of the middle, and that's going to be 2000, which is the main value, divided by 2. And then that drops a work plane right on the end, so it's bang smack on the start of that sketch profile that I did, which is what I want. Sketch on the end of him, project through that so I get the center point, and then I'm going to draw a profile line across here of 250. And this could be any distance, it doesn't really matter. 250 doesn't mean anything, it's just as long as it protrudes beyond there. Right, and I also think that this is one of the things that changes the end value. So I'm going to have the line coming out to the right on this quadrant. If you do it there, or there, or there, I think you end up with slightly marginally different end values for area and volume in the final part. Can't explain why, shouldn't be any different, but I've noticed when I try experimenting with it in different places, I do indeed end up on that run with a different end result. Don't know why. Right, so I'm now going to coil it. I've looked at a few people's parts who've sent in, and a couple of people did a coil, but most people deviated off from my trajectory at this point. So I'm going to coil surface that line. So I'm going to create a coil using that line, which is something you can't do in Fusion 360. And my kind of Fusion talents ended at that point, so I couldn't go any further with Fusion myself. But coil that line around that axis. We're going to go for revolution and height. The height, so the overall length of the coil is main, which is 2000. We're going for 15 revolutions, and we're going that way. So I spotted a few emails and comments from people saying, mate, I've counted your coil, you've got it wrong, it's 15.5. It's clearly not, it's 15. What's happened is that Inventor starts the coil at a consistent point at both sides, and there's an extra bit of material that it creates to blend into your profile. Like a bit of taper off material. but it is 15 revolutions. You can see it is there. Right, and the next thing to do is to get this bit sorted out, because the start of the coil just comes out at a random angle. So what you've got to do is go into coil ends and then change this to flat, and then the flat angle is 0. And then the same thing for the end. I'm going to change that to flat, and then that to 90 degrees, and that ensures that this termination of the coil is exactly, it just transitioned straight perpendicular into this flat face here. And then we can OK on that, and we end up with this funky looking revolved coil, or a coiled surface, I should say. And then we're going to jump into a 3D sketch, create an intersection curve between here and my revolved body. So it basically takes two entities, and where the entities touch each other, it creates a 3D sketch. And then you can see here, so this, it's tracking the trajectory of this line as it spins around, and when this point here touches the revolved body, it creates an intersection coil, and that's that yellow line, and it represents that yellow line as a 3D sketch, which is what I want to keep, and I can turn off all the other stuff and leave just that. And that's the center line of the center coil. So it can create a plane on endpoint of the 3D sketch, normal to the 3D coil, and then 2D sketch on that. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry, I'm just going to pause here. Autodesk, where's the logic in this? When I sketch on this face over here, in what world, on what planet do I want to zoom in all the way over here? Can you just please? I know I have the setting on that's look to face, so it looks, the camera changes and looks down on what I'm sketching on, but come on, you can put some logic in to stop it zooming all the way over to the middle. Surely, if I sketched on this work plane, you know that's where I want to be at. Right, never mind. Right, let's get back on track. So I'm going to project the end point of that and then draw a circle, snap into the point, and this one was a 15 diameter. Finish that. I can turn off. No, I'm going to leave on that plane actually for reasons that I'll tell you in a second. Then I'm going to sweep that profile, and I'm going to use the 3D sketch as the path. If it lets me. Come on. Profile that path. There we go. I've come across so many. There's a bug coming up. That was one of them. It didn't let me pick the path. I've never come across that one, but things like that have been happening as I've been doing this. But one of them is very reproducible, and I'll show you in a second. But it's been quite the frustrating thing to do. I've learned a few lessons from this one, if I'm honest. But there you go. There's the center coil. Right. The next bit is debatable, because I need to create a 2D sketch for the start and, well, yeah, the start point for the two outer coils. You can either sketch on that work plane there or that face there. And again, I think depending on which one you sketch on changes the end result. I can't explain why again, and I don't know which one's right or wrong. So I'm going to use the fate. Love, come on, please. Give me a break. Give me a break. So much time wasted. Right, project that, and then what a lot of people did is they drew a line across diagonally for the start points of the coils. That's fine. I didn't do that. I created a 2-point rectangle and then 50 by 50, and I sweeped this instead of a line. I don't think it really matters, but this is what I did. Right, this is the bug. This is one of the bugs I've come across. Right, so I'm going to turn on so this 3D sketch here was used by that sweep there, so it's turned it off. Now I can't share a 3D sketch, but I can turn its visibility on, and it's now on, but it's behind this body. It's inside here, but I can use that as a path again. So when I sweep, turn on surface, I need to sweep this profile here, just the square. That's it. It will not let me click on it. Right, listen. It's not picked it up. Now, it's jumped to path. If I pick the path, nothing happens. If I jump back to profile and try and pick this, it's now picking up the whole bloody square. Right, I can cancel it, try it again. It will not do it. Profile, surface, right, pick the profile. Just will not do it. Back to profile, click, it's gone. Profile's gone, right? Can't do it. It will not let me do it at all. I cannot pick that. I can escape. Jump back in, surface, Pick it, not picked. However, watch this. Watch this. This is the bug. This is the bug. Right, pick that. Nope. Path. That. Go back to profile. Pick that. Right, you get this red. Okay. Undo. Back into sweep. Turn on surface. Now it will. Let me pick it. I can't articulate how much of my life I lost when I was trying to get my head around that. One day we'll get all of these things ironed out. Anyway, right, so we're going to sweep the surface. The square is the surface, and we're going to twist it. So there's 100 revolutions. So that means a twist angle of 36,000, which is where the CPU killer aspect of this came in, because it can take quite some time to compute this, especially if you put in one extra zero accidentally, and then it tries to calculate 360,000 degrees of spinnings. All right, okay on that. And then that's going to be a swept, spinny, twisty surface, which looks a little something like that. Okay, another thing which has an impact on the end area and volume is which one of these corners you use as coil. So if you look at my drawing, I've created a view from that angle, so looking top down with this termination point here, so the end face of that coil being here. And I think it's that corner and that corner that I'm using. So I'm going to create a plane on there to there, and then create a plane from there to there. So that gives us a sketch profile, or a sketch plane, which is exactly normal to this line here. So I can now create a 2D. This is the CPU going, too much to compute, mate, too much to compute. Right, so sketch on that. Oh, for God's sake, come on, please. It doesn't matter how many times this happens. It makes my brain itch every single time. Oh, you've got to laugh. Right, project the corner of that sweep, and then we're going to draw the profile for the coil, which was a diameter of 25, and then finish that. That's the first one done. Let that do its bits and pieces, and then I can sketch on that one. Right, project that, do the same, circle. Oh, I can feel the computer starting to lag now. Look at that. It's like, mate, you're doing too much. I can't cope. Well, this is an i7-8700K, mate. I don't know what more you want from me, right? That's it. Right. This is where quite a few people got stuck, because what a lot of people were doing is they were sweeping that, and they were trying to use this edge here as the path. Right, that one there, which that makes sense, but Inventor, for whatever reason, can't do it. Will not do it. Well, it will do it, but you end up with an error. So again, I got a few emails of people saying, oh, here's my model, I've got some errors. And if you'd said that to me, I would have probably well, I mean, I know you got it wrong because it's not the right way you do it. But what you do instead is you reuse that center path, and then you just keep the twist value of 36,000 on, and you end up with exactly the same path as what was there anyway. Like that. And then you will get a sweep without an error. Also, so this bit definitely makes a big difference to the end result. Whether you create this sweep, the two outer coils, as a new solid, or use join so it's all one body, that makes a difference to the volume. It shouldn't do, because whether it's a new body or whether it's joined in terms of material to the first coil shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, but it does. It's been reported. Autodesk, someone on the team looked at it, reproduced it, just said, yes, that doesn't make any sense, we'll look at it, and I've left them to it. So I'm going to assume that nobody created a new solid, because I didn't tell you to do that, so I'm going to just leave it on as join, so everything's just one body. So we'll apply that, because I'm going to have to do another sweep straight away afterwards, so I can just hit apply there, and it keeps the sweep command active after it's done this one. And then we can jump straight into this profile and then reuse that path. Sweep, twist, 36,000 degrees again, and then OK. And then that's it. All done and dusted, apart from the material, which was copper. So we'll jump into the... and in this case, actually, the material does make a difference, because I saw quite a few results from people who had a very similar area and volume to me, but the mass was way out, and then some people had a similar volume, but the mass was, there was very massive deviation on all these values. It was quite interesting to see them come through, and also quite frustrating because I can't explain why some things were the way they were. Right, so I can turn off a couple of these sweeps now. I can turn off that work plane and those two there as well. And mate, that's it, done. That's the end result, finished. So if I jump into the eyebrow, I've honestly no idea what this is going to be. I'm going to clue. It should be 54414. See, now it's 5441437.313. I can't explain it. It's different to all of the other answers that I've had. I get a different one each time. And it seems to be where I place sketches, whether I sketch on a work plane or a face, which direction I put the profile in. You end up with the same solid, but it doesn't seem to make any sense. And the volume as well changes very slightly based on whether these two sweeps are additional solid bodies or whether they're joined up. But that's the answer. That one and that one with a massive 283.279. So the logic that I've went with here is if you've got the first 4 or 5 digits right in the area and the volume, I tend to have gone with that, and then the massive 283. If you're into the 284s and 285s on the masses, I've refused that because that's a whole kilogram, So I had to draw a line on how much tolerance I allowed for right answers. I mean, I can't even get my own model right because the first time I did this, I had 5441440, and now it's 5441437. I can't explain it. If I was to shut this down and do it again on camera, I'd end up with a different answer. And I can't explain it. But that was the answer. These people on screen got it roughly right. They were close enough. So congratulations to you guys. Commiserations to everyone else. I know there'll be a few people watching this who are going, but I was still close. I mean, I know you probably were, but I had to draw a line somewhere. But these folks were very, very, very close. And if you used a similar technique to what I did and you're still not shown, it means you were off somewhere. So I had to draw a line. It doesn't really matter that much. But congratulations to everyone that got it right. That's the end of the Invusion Challenge number 3. The files, all the drawings, all the data sets will be put into the Dropbox account linked in the description below, as has been done on all the other challenges. Challenge number 4 is going to be very different to the first 3, and you'll see why when I release the launch video, which I haven't even done yet. I haven't even started. Cards on the table. I only came up with the challenge this morning, so... I hope it's not going to be a flop, but I've come up with quite a good idea for it, so I look forward to that. The number 4 as well might stay open for longer than a month as well, because I've got a feeling that it might take quite some time to get this one done, and I think we're looking at even fewer people getting it right. I'm excited for it. I really am. Anyway, thanks very much. That's Invusion Challenge number 3, done and dusted. Thanks for entering, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodaloo.